Hello and welcome to the Module 8 of the Project Resource Manual published by the Construction Specifications Institute. And Module 8 is the final one, and that is regarding the facility management. So our project is finished. Everything is done. The construction is complete. The closeout phase is already in the past. What happens after that? So, and then the facility or the building or the structure or any type of property starts their life cycle, and the facility manager is actually a very important individual or a company that actually maintains and operates the property. So let's go over a few things here, what is actually important and why it is important. So according to the Facility Management Handbook, a facility manager integrates the people of the organization with its purpose and place. So this is a beautiful saying, and actually, in actuality, what they do is they make sure that everything goes smoothly according to the design, according to the owner's program um, requirements, and everybody is happy. The end users are happy. All the people come there and do what they were intended to do at that facility. And usually this professional or the company, they have a background in architecture, engineering, construction, real estate, or any related discipline, but usually have some type of experience and training in the development of facilities. And usually that person, communicates with the owner and represents the owner, and they have really good communication skills. They understand the life cycle of the facility. They are familiar with the construction, with materials, equipment, and main building systems, and they understand the codes and regulations, and also they understand budgets and planning, and know the sources of products and services. So they know all the providers and suppliers. So there are a few roles and responsibilities of the facility manager, and they include some of the following. So they need to understand the cost of training, hiring, and paying benefits to full-time employees. Then they need to understand how to communicate with outside vendors and how they actually respond if there's any type of emergency, like in the middle of the night. Then they need to understand the relationship between employees and outside service providers, and how effectively those employees work with them. Then they need to understand the benefits of outsourcing, if there is a piece of task that can be outsourced and it's more cost effective and that's better. Then they need to understand the cost and effectiveness of the maintenance work, like the ground maintenance and the facility maintenance, and so that everything operates smoothly. And they need to understand the impact of the on the employee morale when work previously performed by employees is outsourced. So what actual role the project manager has in the project closeout? They are an important player, and actually they participate in the system startup and testing. They make sure that everything works properly, and everybody got the operations and maintenance training, and then they accept and manage the record documents, and they actually understand and archive all the warranties and all the project documentation. So what else the facility manager does? Usually they are in charge of operations and maintenance in general, and they have the demonstration and the training to the employees. They participate in the punch lists when the project goes through the closeout and the final stages of construction. They communicate with the authority having jurisdictions. They also make sure that they go to all the inspections and the authority having jurisdiction visits, and they review actually all the documents. So then during the commissioning, they're always present, and usually there are two types of commissioning. One is with total project commissioning, and then systems and equipment commissioning. And the facility manager is usually present at both, and that is important just for the future facility operations and maintenance. So they keep the record documents, they understand the correction period and warranties. If there is any faulty equipment that is installed, they need to understand like the duration of the warranty, and like if there's the owner's authorization, and any type of other requirements for service contracts and approved service providers. What else actually the facility manager is in charge of is the general operations and maintenance of the facility. They need to understand the requirements from the architect, and they need to understand the local and state codes and federal requirements, if any. Then if there is any OSHA requirements or ADA requirements, then they need to understand the corporate requirements, the budget constraints that the owner may have, because the facility managers are paid, and the budget constraints sometimes prevent them from the successful operations and maintenance. Types of maintenance. There is a general maintenance, preventive maintenance, routine, and renovation. So usually facility managers are the ones who initiate the renovation of the property, and they actually inform the owner of what has been done, if the management changed, if the ownership changed, then and the facility manager is still the same. They can advise like how the project was completed like 10 years ago, and like what architectural firm was used, like what construction manager was there, so they can actually help and inform the decisions, because they keep the records, they understand the budget, they know what has been procured, and what actually is best in that particular region or jurisdiction. So and if there are any environmental issues, they usually take care of that as well. If there's any like recycling or hazardous waste, or indoor air quality, or any energy conservation that needs to be taken care of, usually the facility manager is the one who takes care of that. Also, if there are any regulatory processes like inspections and any type of compliance with like OSHA regulations or any other types of regulations, they usually make sure that all the specific requirements are met. There is usually a budget for that, and they keep the financial issues organized, and they control the budget, and they control the cost, and they usually rely and the owners usually rely on that accurate monitoring and accounting. So that's usually a good practice to keep all the records just for the compliance purposes. And like if there are any legal issues, it's always good to go back to the facility manager and make sure that everything is archived, everything is documented. So if there's any planning for the design and construction, they usually help, they advise, like I mentioned, and they try to minimize the repair and replacement costs, because if it's a good facility manager, they will try to make sure to prevent the things from happening instead of just mitigating them and renovating the whole thing. They maintain the resources and the materials, and they try to make sure that everything is taken care of. The equipment and the system information is up to date, and the cleaning and regular maintenance is happening. So the record project manual usually has the modifications made to the project manual by addenda, change orders, supplemental instructions, and field orders. And then if there are any materials and systems incorporated in construction, rather than all manufacturers' materials and systems identified in the contract document. So if there are any deviations, that should definitely be recorded and kept on site. And they keep a log, they keep the like the operations and maintenance data. Usually it's like in the alphabet order or any type of applicable order that the owner may require. So, and also they keep spare parts and like extra stock materials, like just in case if there's any repair. There's usually something in the janitor's closet that is ready to be used, or like if there's not enough left, they can purchase the same material or the same product. Then they help the architect in the facility evaluation, in the post-occupancy evaluation, and usually all the types of facilities are inspected and evaluated, and that could be the whole building, that can be just the tenant or a user, and that can be the infrastructure, which includes like highways, paving, striping, signage, any type of ramps, light, landscaping, and all the grounds around the building, and the building's mechanical and electrical systems, finishes, exterior and interior, all the like energy efficiency and site development. So like it's like the holistic approach to the facility. So then what actually happens with the life cycle activity throughout the life cycle of the building or a facility? The facility manager actually tracks the cost, like how much has been spent on the light bulbs, or like how often they had to replace the filters, or they actually, the good facility manager always has like a track record of that, and that helps the owner to actually have an informed decision when there's the next project coming, when it's due, and that helps the procurement, that helps the new design solicitation and actually instructions for procurement. If there's a lot of information available, and that can always be used for the new contracts for the new project. Also, what else is important here? So basically the facility manager then becomes a new stakeholder for the new project, and they actually can say a lot about the building. They can tell stories, they can say what worked, what did not work, what like how the facility operated during the hurricanes or lateral lows, like if there were any type of natural disasters, like how that actually withstood the external forces. So they do a lot during the life cycle of a facility. And that actually concludes our module 8. Thank you for watching.